are some of the general trends you're seeing with the clients and customers themselves? Anything that we haven't talked about, or anything you would add in terms of what are on their minds? What's on the mind of the average tech buyer and tech implementer?
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Eric. And the point at which people are starting to develop this long-term strategy for their organization is changing, right? So it used to be that people would make a technology change for technology's sake and just jump into an ERP selection. What we're seeing more and more often is people starting from the very beginning with the strategy and even the business case internally to understand what can the organization afford, what does the organizational goals mean in terms of the technology that we're going to implement. And that places them somewhere along that continuum from strategy and selection up front all the way through implementation and deployment, that they may have need of a partner to help understand exactly how they can be successful with the entire program. Not getting back to Scott's talk about our expert witness program, but really understanding the pitfalls, no matter where you are in the journey. I think more and more people are understanding that it is a continuum, and where you start really depends upon where you want to end. And some of the things we've been talking about with AI and composable ERP, people are looking for quick wins. They're looking for, time to value being reduced to months instead of years. And that's where I think AI can also help, and also reduce the time for implementation of some of these ideas and some of these technology and people changes that need to happen with organizations. So it is a changing landscape, in other words.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's constantly changing, and just as we think we have it all figured out, something will change to further that.
That's what makes it fun.
I want to exactly. Yeah, it is what makes it fun. Our jobs might be boring if we didn't have that sort of excitement. I want to one more time share the QR code right here for the Executive Mastermind. As I mentioned at the beginning of the program, this is a new program we're launching. It's a very exclusive workshop and educational opportunity. This conversation here today is much more conversational. We're obviously taking a lot of audience questions. This Executive Mastermind will be a little bit more structured. We have an agenda of different topics that we'll unpack and sort of present methodologies and frameworks, but we'll also unpack and dive into specific client situations. So if that's something you're interested in, if you're part of a transformation, if you'd like to be part of this Executive Mastermind, it'll be facilitated by many of us as well as others on the Third Stage Consulting team. So there's value in getting direct access to the consulting team that you see here, but also there's a lot of value in that peer networking and peer learning experience. And that's part of what we want here is, sometimes you can hear it from us, but when you talk to another CIO or another project team member that's going through something very similar, there's something therapeutic about that seems to be, it sort of calms people down. Like, okay, I'm not crazy. Okay, I'm not alone. Everyone else is going through something similar, and let's commiserate together, let's learn together. And that's really the whole point and the purpose of this Executive Mastermind. So it's a hybrid program. It's online. We will do some in-person events in the EMEA region. So London and Dubai in particular are the first two regions where we'll do in-person. We'll also stream it live from those in-person workshops as well. So it's a hybrid event or a hybrid workshop, very exclusive. So if you'd like more about it, apply, scan that QR code, and love to be part of that with you if you're part of a transformation right now. But as people are scanning that code, getting that set up on their computer for future reference or to potentially look into a little bit more, just as a closing question here for you guys, I'm curious to hear, for those organizations that are just getting started on their transformation journeys, or maybe they're early in it, just trying to figure out what to do and how to move forward, what's that one piece of advice you give them? Is sort of like, if there's one thing you're going to do or keep in mind early in the cycle or early in the project, wherever you are right now, this is it. This is the one thing I'd suggest. What would that be for you, Scott? Let's start with you.
I'd probably throw it to Khalid to say data is probably my first position, but I think that what we're seeing on our clients, especially larger organizations, $100 million, $200 million up, there tends to be a little bit of a chasm between senior leadership and the folks who are actually doing the work, whether it's director level, manager level. But I would suggest that organizations spend some time understanding the workload, the drivers, the obstacles that are happening up and down their organization first, and really understand their business. I think a lot of people can talk about their business, but when we bring people into a workshop session, I'm amazed still of how people on the same level are learning new things about what departments are doing, how they're doing it. So just kind of understanding more about your organization. That seems simple and kind of naive, so to speak, but it's important to really understand what is happening on the shop floor, in your sales offices, before you open up the Pandora's box of looking at doing a transformation project.
Great advice. How about you, Khalid? What would that first recommendation be? That first step towards a successful transformation? What would you?
For me, it's strategy. You got to whiteboard this stuff. You got to dream. I would encourage people to go to the whiteboard, create vision and dream for what that organization needs to kind of look like. If you want a dancing panda in the middle of your lobby, like, use case it, model it, right? Like because it can be done, right? And I'm obviously, kind of joking with the panda component, but when you kind of get in your processes and where your organization can go, I think today you have a ton of capabilities at your fingertips. So don't worry about it. Kind of go to the whiteboard and start thinking about what does this thing need to look like for us to truly have success in kind of this, this year, next year, over the course of the next 5 years or so. And then you can kind of work backwards with technology to support that.
I have to wonder what the world is coming to when the AI and data guy is talking about strategy, dreams, and pandas.
Yeah.
Right?
So I never thought that day would come. But
I want to know what the ROI is on the
Pandas. Do not sleep on pandas.
Yeah, pandas are underrated for sure. That's great advice. And it joking aside, I mean, it is interesting in all seriousness that you being a data and AI guy, you are still starting with strategy. What do you want? And no matter how technical you are as a person, or no matter how technical you think this transformation is going to be to your organization, you do have to start with that. I mean, no matter what the technology is. So I think that's a really good point.